Hey guys, all right, so I have the Edulastic review up on my smartboard up here and we'll get to it. It says, which is the cubic polynomial in standard form with the roots 0, 2, and -1? So, oops, I need to drop my pen. That means x equals 0, x equals 2, and x equals -1. So we're starting with the answers and we have to work backwards. So a factor of x is just a factor of x. Before it was x equals 2, that means it was an x minus 2 equals 0. Before it was an x equals -1, it was an x plus 1 equals 0. So those are my factors. I'm going to start by multiplying these out first. So FOIL it out. X times x is x squared. X times 1 is x. -2 times x, -2x. -2 times 1 is a -2. Lucas, I'm not going to tell you again to stop jumping around. All right, and then combine like terms, x squared minus x minus 2. All right, we're not done yet though, because don't forget we have that x out front. So multiply it in, we'll get x cubed minus x squared minus 2x. So it's gotta be, this is covering it up, let me move that. X cubed minus x squared minus 2x, it's gotta be C. So I'm gonna hit C. And we'll go next. Lucas, hush it. All I hear is you, Lucas. Go sit down, please. Oh my gosh. All right, so part A, it says use long division to find the quotient. So I know that looks kind of small to you guys, but you should have these written down because you're supposed to use a separate sheet of paper, right? So my divisor is 2x plus 3. That goes outside the box. My dividend is 4x to the 4th plus 12x cubed plus 7x squared plus x plus 6. These are my favorite. All right, so we need to get a 4x to the 4th. So what do we multiply by -2x to get 4x to the 4th? Well, that would be a -2x to the 3rd. I like to be nice and neat and line up my x to the 3rd. Everything gets lined up, okay? And then multiply. -2x to the 3rd times -2x is a positive 4x to the 4th. -2x to the 3rd times 3 is a -6x to the 3rd. Okay, so we have to do the sign change now. So switch it to its opposite because we're subtracting. These will cancel. 12x cubed plus 6x cubed is 18x cubed. And then we bring down the next term. Okay, so for the next one, I need to get an 18x cubed this time. So what do I multiply by -2x to get 18x cubed? Well, I need a negative because the negative times negative is positive, and I need a 9 because 9 times 2 is 18. And I have one x there, I need an x cubed, so I need 2 more. Plus I have it stacked, right? So that should tell us what comes next. So -9x squared times -2x is 18x cubed. -9x squared times 3 is a -27x squared. And then we need to do the sign change because we're subtracting. So these will cancel. Those always cancel. If they don't, then something's wrong with your sign. 7x squared plus 27x squared, that's what, 34x squared? And then we bring down the next term. Okay, and now I need to get a 34x squared. So what do I multiply by -2x to get 34x squared? Well, it needs to be negative because the negative times negative is positive. And let's see, half of 30 is 15, half of 4 is 2, 15 plus 2 is 17. Must be 17. And I have one x there, I need an x squared, so 17x. Okay, so -17x times -2x is a positive 34x squared. -17x times 3, that ends up being -51x. And then we have to do the sign change. So minus plus, okay? These will cancel. X plus 51x is 52x. Bring down the positive 6 and do it one more time. Can you guys see that? Yeah, you can. Okay, so now I need to get a 52x. So what do I multiply by -2x to get 52x? And that would be a Half of 50 is 25, half of 2 is 1, so 26. Negative 26 times negative 2x is a positive 52x. Negative 26 times 3, what was that? 78, negative 78. And then we need to do the sign change, so minus plus, these cancel. 6 and 78 is 84. So this is my remainder, okay? And to write the remainder, we just put plus, because it's positive, 84 over the divisor, negative 2x plus 3. So this is my answer, and I need to type that in over there. So typing in on the smartboard is what gets a little tricky. So I need negative 2x, and I gotta raise it to the third power, and then I have to arrow down, and then I need a negative 9x squared, negative 9x, raise it squared, arrow down, and then I need a negative 17x, and then a minus 26. And then plus, I need a fraction, so the fraction button, and I need 84. I gotta arrow down to get to the denominator, and I need negative 2x plus 3. Lucas, this is like the 4th time I'm telling you to be quiet. All right, and that's everything. Okay, based on your answer from part A, is a negative 2x plus 3 a factor? Well, did it divide evenly? Did I get a 0 remainder? Nah, I got a remainder, so that means it did not divide evenly. So is it a factor? Nope, it's not. It did not go in evenly. And then next. Man, I feel like Vanna White as I go from side to side. Clear the E. Lucas, come on, man. Oh my gosh, this kid. All right, so let's find the roots of, and I know you guys can't see it, so I'm gonna write it a little bit bigger. We're finding the roots of x to the 4th plus 3x cubed minus 5x squared minus 9x plus 10. All right, so this is 5 terms, so I can't try to break it in half and factor each side because there's an odd number of terms. So I have to do the p cubes, the possible zeros, right? So those are the factors of the constant over the factors of the leading coefficient, which is just a 1. Well, factors of 1 are just plus or minus 1. Factors of 10 are plus or minus 1, 2, 5, and then itself 10. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, so 8 numbers I can possibly choose for zeros. So 1 and negative 1, 2 and negative 2, 5 and negative 5, 10 and negative 10. Remember, we always start with which one? Which one's the easiest? 1. And usually that's one of the factors. So we need our coefficients because we're going to use synthetic division. So 1, 3, 5, negative 9, negative 5, negative 9, and 10. Make sure my exponents are 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Yeah, so they're all there. So 1, 3, negative 5, negative 9, and 10. And I want the remainder. I want this number right here to be a 0. That's how I know that it is a root. Okay, so bring down the 1 and then multiply. 1 times 1 is 1. 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 times 1 is 4. Negative 5 plus 4 is negative 1. Negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. Negative 9 minus 1 is negative 10. Negative 10 times 1 is negative 10. 10 minus 10 is 0. So it did divide evenly. So this worked. That means that x equals 1 is a root. So let's find that on the drop-down menus.
Can I raise?
So, no, Luke. Looking at the first one, that's not in that menu. Looking at the second one, there it is. 1, negative 1, 5, negative 5. It's a positive 1. And there we go. We got one of them. 1 out of there should be a total of 4.
4.
Okay? So I got one of them. So now I'm going to use synthetic division again and try to find the next one. So, but now we have to use the new coefficients, the new numbers. All right? So I'll do it over here. And let's just try a positive 2. Okay, so 1, 4, -1, -10. Okay, and start the synthetic division. Can you guys see over there? Nope, let me turn it. Okay, so bring down the 1. 1 times 1 is 2. 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. -1 plus 12 is 11. 11 times 2 is 22. Nope. This is going to be what? An 8. So I didn't get a 0. So 2 is not an option. All right, that's okay. That just means we need to do it again.
Yay,
So
do
let's
it
try a -2 this time. We tried +2. Let's try -2. And 1, 4, -1, -10. Bring down the 1. 1 times -2 is -2. 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 times -2 is -4. This adds up to -5. +10. 0. All right, so yes. All right, the pencil sharpener needs to stop. Luke, seriously? Oh my gosh. Ugh, okay, so we know that x equals -2 is a root. Okay, so I'm going to go to that drop-down menu. That first one, I saw it on there. There it is, -2, and I picked it. All right, now I need to find the last two, and I have to use these as my clue, my new coefficients. So I went from a 4th degree to a 3rd degree to a 2nd degree. Every time we find a root, we divide it down an x. So now this is a 1x squared plus 2x minus 5. And it's not going to be factorable because if you look at the drop-down menus that are left, they're decimals. So that means that they must have used the quadratic formula to find the rest of the solutions. So I'm going to erase this because it's in my way. All right, and I'm going to rewrite this up here, x squared plus 2x minus 5, and we're going to use the quadratic formula. Now, when I have my students use quadratic formula, when I teach it, I say identify the ABCs first. Remember, ax squared plus bx plus c, that's standard form. So the a is just a 1. They're the coefficients. B is a 2. C, the constant, is -5. And then the quadratic formula. So x equals -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a.
I made a rectangle.
Okay, honey. All right, so now let's simplify this out. We have a -2 plus or minus square root of 2 squared is a 4. We have -4 times 1 times -5, that's a +20. So this becomes -2 plus or minus the square root of 24 all over 2. All right, so remember, we're going to get a decimal, so no need to simplify the radical. We have two solutions here, -2 plus the square root of 24 divided by 2, and -2 minus the square root of 24 divided by 2. So we need our calculator for this part. So when we use the calculator, you need to type in -2 plus the square root of 24, hit equals, then divide by 2. You're going to get that that is approximately 1.4. And -2 minus the square root of 24, hit enter, and then divide that answer by 2. You're going to get this to be approximately -3.4. So 1.4 and -3.4. So if I go to my menu, there is 1.4 was positive. The 3.4 is negative. So on the next drop-down menu, there's the -3.4, and we're good. Hit next. All right, number 4, it says use the remainder theorem to determine which of the following binomials are factors of p of x. So I'm just going to write it nice and big. P of x equals x cubed minus 2x squared minus 5x plus 6. I just realized I need to move the camera back. Okay. All right. So it says to use remainder theorem. That means that we're using synthetic division. That means we're identifying the possible zeros, the PQs. So the factors of the constant 6 are plus or minus 1, 2, 3, and 6. Just pretend there's a plus or minus in front of all of them. All right, the leading coefficient though is just a 1. So when we divide by 1, it doesn't change anything. So we have, 8 different possible zeros we could try. Positive 1, negative 1, positive 2, negative 2, positive 3, negative 3, positive 6, or negative 6. And we always start with which one? 1. So I'm gonna do that. So we'll start with 1. And let's put our coefficients. So we have a 1, negative 2, negative 5, and 6. 3, 2, 1, 0. They're all there. Bring down the first term and then start multiplying. 1 times 1 is 1. Negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1. Negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. Lucas, stop that. Negative 5 minus 1 is negative 6. Negative 6 times 1 is negative 6. And oh, look at that. They add up to 0. That means it divided in evenly. So x equals 1 is a root, which means that before you get x equals 1, it would be x minus 1 equals 0. So the factor is x minus 1. And on our list at the very bottom, letter F is x minus 1. So there's one of them. How many should this have?
3.
3. Okay, so I need 2 more. Well, this was an x cubed and I divided out an x, so now this is an x squared. So this is a 1x squared minus 2x minus 6. Okay, so now it's a quadratic. Let's try to factor it. Obviously, it's got to be factorable because the factors are all there. They're all factors. There's no decimals or roots for that matter. So let's see. 2 numbers that multiply to negative 6 that add up to negative 2. So it's got to be 2 and 3. And, oh, I'm like, no, it's not. I messed up here. I don't know why I wrote a 2. I must have seen the 2 up there. It's a negative 1. My bad. So it is 2 or 3. And let's see, to add up to a negative 1, it's which one should be negative? This one should, because 2 minus 3 is negative 1. All right, so those are my factors, x plus 2 and x minus 3. X plus 2 is letter C. X minus 3 is letter B. So the answers were B, C, and F. And let me clear the ink. Okay. Now this one, will it let me zoom in? Oh, it does. Okay. All right, can you guys see that good? Okay, it says select the terms that apply to the graph below. So I see the end behavior both going up, so that tells me it's even and it's positive because we're facing up. So the equation of this graph has a blank degree. It's got to be an even degree. The leading coefficient, well, because it's facing up, it should be positive. If it were negative, both would be facing down. The graph has how many real roots? So if you look at that drop-down menu, let me move this. It says no real roots, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Well, real roots are the ones that we see where the graph crosses the x-axis at. And I see that the graph is crossing right here and right here. So it has 2 real roots. Okay? But this isn't a parabola. This got this little funky W going on. So we know that this is a 4th degree polynomial. So if this is an x to the 4th and 2 of the roots are real, that means that the other 2, because there's a total of 4, must be imaginary. So the graph has 2 imaginary roots for a total of 4 roots, because this is an x to the 4th graph, which you need to be able to recognize. All right, that one's done. Let me clear the ink if it lets me. There it goes. Zoom back out. And next. Number 6 says solve the following radical equation. So we have the cubed root of x plus 10 equals 8. Subtract 10. Cubed root of x equals negative 2. Then we have to undo that radical. So we're going to have to cube it because it's a cubed root. Poof, x gets to come out. Negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 is negative 8. So x equals negative 8. Come on. I need to clear the ink first. It's being picky. There it goes. Negative 8. Next. All right, number 7, it says describe the shift from the parent graph of y equals x squared for the graph y equals x plus 13 quantity squared minus 14. So this plus 13 means normally it's a minus sign, so to change to a plus means that 13 must have been negative, so we are going to the left, and minus 14 outside means we are going down. So left 13 and down 14, that is letter D. Left 13, down 14. Number 8, see it says solve the equation. So we have the square root of x minus 4 minus the square root of 3x plus 8 equals 0. We need to isolate the radicals. We need to get one on each side. So I'm going to add this one over without writing it because I don't want to do that. X square root of x minus 4 equals the square root of 3x plus 8. And then we need to square both sides. And poof, x minus 4 gets to come out, 3x plus 8 gets to come out, and then we just need to solve. So I'm going to subtract x from both sides to get rid of the x there. Subtract 8 from both sides to get rid of the 8 on the right. So I get negative 12 equals 2x. Divide both sides by 2 and x equals negative 6. But because this was a square root, we've got to check it. So if I were to plug negative 6 back in, negative 6 minus 4 is a negative 10, there's a problem. Can we have a negative under the radical? Are we dealing with imaginary numbers right now? No. So that means that this is an extraneous solution. So if it's not a solution, that means that there is no solution. And that's what we're going to type in here. I need the keyboard back. So no, oops. I need to put capital N for the no, otherwise it's going to mark it wrong. No solution. All right, and then number 9. We have negative 6 plus the square root of x plus 10 equals 2. Add 6 to both sides, so we'll get the square root of x plus 10 equals 2 plus 6 is 8. We got to square both sides. Poof, x plus 10 gets to come out. You get 64. Subtract the 10 and x equals 54. And submit. Let me clear the ink. So it automatically marks 2 wrong because I don't know why it has that, but it's the same thing. 2 is completely correct. So this is 100%. And that's it. Hope that helps.